Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do the simplest thing that we can absolutely do, or actually one of the most fun setups, which is the IKarm setup. Now, here you can see on my file, I have just a few things that I've sort of pre-imported and set up. First is a set of joint chains, shoulder, elbow, wrist with a hand so we can see which way the hand is kind of rotating. And then I have two controllers here. One is an IK control and the other is a pole vector. If you don't know what a pole vector is, don't worry, we'll get to that when we're talking about it. But first things first, let's always make sure that we're placing our control handles in the right place. Now, with control handles, you've probably seen this or you probably know this already, but pivots matter. Which means if you have your pivot kind of floating around like this and you think you're going to be able to like control this joint really well or an IK very well, no. What you need to do is hold down X and snap this. Oh, sorry, not X, V. Snap this to point because otherwise this will be offset and that's not okay. For a pole vector controller, hold down V, bring it to your elbow, and then what you want is for this to be floating outward. Yeah. So what you want for a pole with a pole vector control is for this to not be sitting on the joints, but to actually be floating backward and out. So I'm going to just kind of push this back. What you want is for it to be not so close that the elbow hits it when you bend the arm. So say for example, if this joint is it's 12 units away, what you basically want is for this thing to be more than 12 units away from this so that the rotation of it doesn't push it right into that controller. There's logic behind this, don't freak out. I'm going to set this for -15 for now, which is great because now we have two sets of placements and we should be able to get going, except you want to make sure you delete history and freeze transformations on your controller, no matter what. Delete history, freeze transformations. Then you go into your skeleton menu, go into create IK handle, always go into options if this is your first time on the computer or in a long time because you don't know what's going to be set up over here. Reset your tool so that you're sure that you're working with the default, which is the rotate plane solver. And then click on your shoulder joint, click on your wrist joint. And voila, that creates an IK handle. Nice thing about IK handles, yep, you guessed it, you can move the wrist joint and it auto rotates elbow and shoulder for you, so it makes it a lot easier to animate than say FK joints, particularly if you need to have the wrist be the placement, like actually put your hand down on something and not have it be dependent on where the body is, you know? Let's do a quick name and call this left arm IK. And I'm just gonna drag and drop this onto the control handle so that I can grab the control handle and essentially hide IKs. So viewport, oops, and I can go into here and I should be able to hide IK handles so that then you're not accidentally selecting it. Of course, I don't need that right now because I need to do one more thing, which is I need to make sure that there is a pole vector. And the pole vector is the control that actually allows you to aim your elbow. And what we do for that is we use a pole vector constraint. So I'm going to just go ahead, select this, and then this, and do a pole vector. And now what we have is this over here and the ability to move the elbow. But one final thing. Don't you want to rotate that wrist? Guess what? Super easy. We already know how to do this, but I'm going to make sure that you can remember or that you don't forget attaching this when you're doing your IK arms. You're going to select the IK control and the joint, not the IK handle, and we're going to do an orient constraint. Once that's done, it's just a matter of, whoops, rotation, and we've got everything we need.